If you have watched any of my previous videos, you've known that prices have actually stayed very steady in the Utah real estate market for the last 4, 5, 6 months. Even since the beginning of spring, we've been seeing prices hold steady despite interest rates climbing during that same time. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at what's happening in the different price ranges, because if you just look across the board like we usually do here with our sales data, you might not get the entire picture of what's happening in the real estate market. We're going to look at what's happening in the low priced homes, in the medium priced homes, and then in the high and luxury priced homes, because I want to get a good sense of what's actually happening at these different price ranges. Even though prices have remained steady across the board, I actually think that's because there's more lower priced homes selling and fewer higher priced homes selling in this market. We're going to take a look at the data here together. I'm going to share some thoughts along the way. We're going to talk about what's happening with interest rates and whether or not you should be a buyer or a seller in this market. As we do that, guys, my name is Cody Stecky, your favorite Utah realtor. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more information on what's happening here in Utah. And if you're in the market, you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. My information is here on the screen. Please reach out. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. I've had people from all across the world reach out and cannot wait to hear from you. So with that said, let's jump in and look at our first data set. Okay, so taking a look at this information here, this is going to be all homes. You can see here the search criteria. This includes the entire state, but it's going to include homes that are listed between 200,000 and 400,000 on the high end. Here we're looking at the months. We went back to October of 2020 to give us roughly a 3-year span here, and you can see all of this information across the board. Back at this time, we had 2,900 home sales in this price range. You can see that the number of home sales is actually dropping. This is because prices were climbing very quickly during this time, and so homes were moving up to the next tier during this time. So home sales are actually dropping here. We're going to come down here to September and October of this year and look at what we've got here. So over the past couple of months, if we look at homes, this is all home types: condos, townhomes, single family homes. Anything that falls in that price range is going to be shown here. We can see that we've got a median sales price here of $338,000. Last month we were at $345,000. And we've been hovering around that number for quite some time here in this area. Now, home prices, I do expect them to stay because we're looking at such a small data set here. I do expect that home price to actually stay pretty solid and not really fluctuate. But even if we go back here to, let's say, October of 2022, we're at $345,000 back here. Whereas in May, which was the peak of the market, we're at $365,000. So in just this data set, home prices have come down roughly $20,000, and they've been up or down slightly from that number for the past year or so here in September 2023. So that's one thing that's important to see here. You can also see that the days on market has increased substantially. That's this last column here. We're sitting at roughly, single digits here, 5, 6, 7, 8 days on market. And right now we're sitting at 23, 24, 25 days on market. So a huge change there in this price range. Now, if we jump to our second data set, again, let me scroll up here and show you this, that we're still looking at the state of Utah. List price is between $400,000 and $600,000 on the high end. We're going to scroll down to the bottom so we can see this information for the last couple of months. Home sales here have been a little bit stronger. We're sitting at roughly a $480 median sales price. We're at $477 last month. And again, you're seeing the same information if we go back year over year. October, September, August of last year, we're at $485 and then down to $480 for these 2 months. So home prices are still staying steady even in this price range. Again, comparing to where we were at in the peak, 505, 509. 510 and then 500. So May was the peak for this price range again as well. 510 in May, we dropped $30,000 to 480 here in October 2022, and home prices have really held steady during that time frame. The other important thing to look at here is the median sales price to the original listing price. So back here when the market was crazy, right before interest rates started to turn, homes were selling for 1, 2, 3, 4% above the ask price on a median basis. This means almost all homes were selling for above the ask price to some degree. And then it quickly changed. We were at 99, 97, 96. It dropped substantially going into November and December down to 93, 94%, and then has climbed back up to a more standard number here at 96, 97%. So if a home is listed at 500,000 on average or on a median basis, that home is typically going to sell for about 480 when it comes to the actual final sales price. Again, looking at sales data for days on market, single digits here. We did creep up to, low double digits here, but now we're sitting at 26, 27, 33 for the last couple of months. So homes are sitting on the market longer, but they're still selling and home prices are still incredibly resilient. Now we're going to look at our third data set. We're going to be moving up to the higher priced homes. Now we're going to be looking at homes that people are moving up to, usually after they've already purchased at least one home. Usually somebody's going to start with a starter home. It's going to be 300, 400, 500, maybe up to 600,000 as their first home. And then they're going to upgrade once they've got, a need for a bigger home or a nicer home. They're a little bit further along in their life journey and they're looking for that higher priced home. This is typically what we're going to be looking at for this price range between 600,000 and $1 million. That doesn't necessarily mean that somebody couldn't buy a first time home in this price range, but just generally speaking, I'd say probably, 75% of people who buy a home in this price range have already owned at least one piece of real estate in the past. So looking at this data set here, we've opened this up a little bit just because I want to keep the number of sales higher so we have a more accurate representation of the data that we're looking at. Again, we have a median sales price here at 702, 717, 709. We're sitting roughly around that 710 mark, and it's really interesting to see how this really hasn't adjusted much at all over the past couple of months, really over the past year or so. Even going back to November, October, September of this last year, we're still sitting in these same number ranges as we are right now. If we go back again, looking at May or April or even March of last year, we are slightly higher, 735, 732, 725. So even in this price range, prices really haven't adjusted all that much on a median basis. Looking at this single digit days on market, we're now higher than that. Again, 33, 37, 37, and now 46 for the month of October. And homes are selling at a slightly bigger discount here in this price range, but still overall sales prices really haven't adjusted all that much. It's very interesting to see how this has changed and how home prices are so resilient despite interest rates being where they're at. And despite the market, everybody's saying, hey, the market's going to crash. There's still people out there. There's still people buying homes in these price ranges at these current levels, although they are negotiating a little bit harder. So you can kind of take this information for what you will and use it how you'd like, but I find this to be very fascinating. I want to take a look at what's happening in the luxury market. I want to actually show you if we change this here, if we go back to $1 million, and let's just go up to like 2.5, right? Because if you go over 2.5 million, you're really kind of dealing with just this ultra luxury buyer, somebody who's got a ton of money and is not really going to be affected by what's happening with interest rates or the general market or the economy, right? So if we go back here and we look at homes selling between $1 million and 2.5 million, our median sales price is going to be right here, roughly 1.25 to 1.3, right? You can see it kind of fluctuates here. If we look at this column, we've been hovering around that number for quite some time. Even going back to the peak of the market, this is still the same. 1.3 in May of 2022, 1.3, 1.259, 1.35. It really hasn't adjusted all that much. Some months are going to be higher than others. Some months will be lower, just depending on which homes actually sell. It's also dependent on the time of year. So there's lots of factors at play here. But, looking at this information, even in this luxury market between $1 million and 2.5, home prices have really not changed all that much. It's very, very interesting to see what's happening here. Even if we go back to March, April, May of this year, homes were selling for basically full price. If a home was listed at 1.3 million, it sold for 1.3 million. However, today that is drastically different. We're actually seeing homes being priced at higher amounts, 1.4 million, 1.4, 1.4, 1.3, 1.35. We're seeing these homes get listed at higher amounts, but then actually get negotiated down and sell for less, even though that number actually comes out to be about the same. So roughly 8% off of the asking price is about what you can negotiate on a given home here in this price range. So very fascinating information overall here in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in Utah, I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. Navigating this tough market, you really need somebody on your side who's in the market every single day, showing homes, talking to buyers, talking to sellers, and really understands what's happening with prices and the overall market. If that is something that you're looking for, I'd love to be the resource of choice for you. We've sold hundreds of homes to people just like you who've relocated here or who already live here in the area and are just looking to get started, or they've got a property they want to sell and they trust us with their services. My team and I service the entire state, and I'd love to help you along in your journey. Please call, text, or email anytime. My information's here on the screen once more. And with that being said, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.